Hello everyone. This is a professional development session for InsertLearning. So what is InsertLearning? A Chrome browser extension that allows you to turn any web page into an interactive lesson for your students. Formerly called Docent EDU, InsertLearning allows you to edit, highlight, and embed links and insert quizzes into any web page. So basically you can take any web page or Google Doc or PDF online, and you can turn those into interactive spaces for your students. InsertLearning easily integrates with Google Class or other learning management systems. And our learning objectives for this training session are really pretty basic. We're just doing a general overview of what InsertLearning can do for you and learning the fundamentals of how to use the extension. So we're going to learn how to edit web pages, and we're going to insert YouTube videos and other media into web pages, how to create and add quizzes, and how to sync your new InsertLearning web pages and docs with the LMS of your choice. So I do want to stress in the beginning here that it is free. The basic InsertLearning account is free, and you're just going to go to InsertLearning.com to create an account and sign in, and then you have to download the extension to your browser. So if you want to follow along, let's get started. Just go to InsertLearning.com, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get your account set up and your extension downloaded onto your browsers. Okay, everybody, let's go over that again really quickly together. So we'll just go to InsertLearning, and this is their homepage, pretty well laid out. This is where you'll sign in the top right-hand corner here. If you don't already have an account, this is where you can go and create one. Once you sign in and have your account created, you can click on this big green button to add the extension directly to your Google Chrome browser. And once it's added, you'll see up here the IL icon will appear in your browser, and that's what you'll be using moving forward to make your web pages interactive. I do want to point out, like I said before, it should be or must be on a Google Chrome browser, as this particular app is fully integrated with Google. And if you scroll down on the homepage, you can learn more about how it's fully integrated through Google with Google Classroom, Chromebook, Docs. You'll use your Google sign-in, so whatever your email account is with Google, that's what you'll use here as well to kind of sync all this stuff up. And it's protected by Google sign-in, just like your email is, so there's no worries there. All right, let's keep moving forward and look at how we can actually use InsertLearning to make web pages interactive. So for the demo for this class, I'm going to go through and make a web page that I would show in my Religion 110 class, and we're going to make that interactive. So to start off, just going to the InsertLearning homepage here, InsertLearning.com, and I'm going to sign in. And since I'm already signed into my Google account, I've got my Google Classroom app signed in over here. It already just kind of plugs me in. I have my password saved. So this is what the InsertLearning dashboard looks like. From here I can see the lessons I've created, and since I'm using the free account version, I get to store up to 5 lesson plans for free. If I want to increase the amount of storage capacity, then you can sign up for a membership and you can pay a small fee. So I can see lessons, I can see grades, I can filter by class, lesson plan, question, student. We're going to go into that more in depth later. And here are the classes. So currently I only have my one religion, 110, 40, 103 synced up. And I do want you to note that each class that you create is going to have this class code. For this one, it's QI5K, and you're going to need this code when you give this lesson to your students later. This is how they're going to be able to link up and find the lesson assignments that you send to them or that you make available to them. And students are going to have to create InsertLearning accounts, and they're going to have the browser installed over here as well to be able to access your lesson plan. So that is a caveat to keep in mind. So we've got that figured out. We've got our lessons, our class showing up here. We can access our lessons. So let's create one that we can actually give to our students. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the web page that I want to make interactive. I use a lot of resources from the Harvard Pluralism Project in my religion class. They have great articles that I like to share with my students, take them kind of outside of our required textbooks, and just give them some different perspectives. So I'm going to do a lesson plan for Shinto. So I go to the page that I actually want to make interactive. We're going to look at the essay on the way of the kami. So this is a great essay. It really packs a punch, very dense, a lot of information crammed into a small space. It's only one page, but as you can see as I scroll down and up here, it's all text. The only images are up here at the very top. And it's not a tremendous amount of information, but like I said, it's really dense. And if a student were to sit down and just read this, it maybe would take 10 minutes. They may even skip over some of it, but I want to make it a little more interactive, put in some links, some highlights, and make it more engaging and make them realize that they actually have to sit and read the whole thing and engage with the text. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Insert Learning icon up here in my browser. And as you can see, immediately it pops up over here. This is the little toolbar that's always going to pop up on the left-hand side of the screen when you decide you want to make one of your web pages interactive. So we're just going to go through the icons here. The top one is where you're going to click the IL icon when you're ready to assign the lesson after it's done. Here is where we highlight text, so you're able to highlight particular passages in your web page that you want students to really focus on, and you're also able to add comments into that to really get their minds moving or to make connections or anything like that. Insert a sticky note. This is where you're able to actually go into the web page and insert other forms of media or images, anything you'd like. There's actually also an option where you can live record yourself. So you can have your head pop up in the middle of their reading and give them a quick lecture or give them a quick breakdown of some maybe particularly dense information, and they can watch that little video within the web page itself. Here we can insert questions. Insert Learning has the ability to insert questions, and you can weigh these questions if you want. So this can be for a grade. If you want to put a whole quiz into the web page, you can. You can adjust the percentages, and we'll look at that in a little bit, and you're able to do that. Or you can just have questions just for the sake of discussion. And you can also have discussions. You see here, you can insert a discussion, and students can actually talk to each other within the web page, which is a really neat feature. And last but not least, our More Options tab. In this tab, you're able to assign directly to students, and you can share this lesson plan with other teachers. So after you make this page interactive, you can actually go in and show teachers or share with other teachers what you've done, and they can, use the web page as well with it. Like, you are able to go back and edit the lesson. So say you do everything, you finish it all up, and you kind of want to tweak it a little bit. It's not a problem. You can go back and edit it. And there's also a help and support here, and you can go straight to your dashboard in Insert Learning. I still have mine pulled up over here. So just some neat little features. Okay, so we're going to make this page interactive, and for this presentation, I'm going to start from the top of the article here and just kind of work my way down, making things interactive as we go along. So I will be kind of toggling back and forth between the options over here on the Insert Learning toolbox. The first thing I want to do is there's a bit of text here that I want to emphasize to my students. So I'm going to highlight it here, and then I'm going to click on Highlight Text. And that will go ahead and highlight what I already highlighted there with my cursor, and it will pop up as yellow automatically. And if I click on it again, you'll see additional little tool icons will pop up. If you feel like you highlighted the wrong thing and you just want to start over, you can click on the trash can icon, and that'll trash the whole thing for you. You can cycle through colors for the highlighting, so it automatically will go to yellow, but you could do green or blue, and you just keep clicking to kind of cycle through the color options. So if you have particular things you want to highlight in the text, maybe there's subcategories of information and you want one group to be blue, one group to be green, that's something that you can use. And you can leave it just as that, just highlighted important information. That's all you have to do. But if you do want to add text to that, then you just click on this little icon box right here. And it pops up with a box, a text box, where you can enter in additional information. So I want my students to know that in Japanese, that the way of the kami actually translates as kami no michi, and that's something that they should know. So I'm going to hit OK. And then if I click off to the side here, all that stuff goes away and we're just left with the highlighted box. And this is what the student will see when they look at the web page. So it'll just be the highlighted text. And then if they hover over and click on it, the information that you put in there will pop right out for them. I would probably assign this web page, this lesson plan, after our first initial lecture. So those students are going to be going into this assignment with some context already from our time together in class. So another thing I want to do is I'm going to insert a question. So the way that the question icon works is very similar to how the sticky note works, in that wherever you want the sticky note or the question to go, you're going to click on the paragraph that precedes that space. So I'm going to insert a question, so I'll click on that icon, and it's going to tell me to highlight where I want the question to go. And you'll see as I take my cursor and go over here, it's highlighting. So I want the question to follow this paragraph, so I'm going to click here, and the box pops up automatically for me. So you'll see that there's a possibility here for points. You can change that, assign it how you will. If you start to create the question and you don't like it, you can edit it or you can delete it. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter in some text here. And I'm asking this question because up here they're talking about in shrines, kamis are not depicted in image form. It's symbolized most commonly by a mirror. We go over in depth in class a particular myth that talks about a particular kami that has a mirror in her mythology. So there's the question. If I wanted to, I could leave it just as is, as an open-ended question, and students would have to type in the exact answer. If you want, you can make it multiple choice. And you do that by hitting create after you've entered in the question itself. So here, if you wanted to leave it as an open-ended question, you would just leave it as is and move on. Whereas if you want to turn it into a multiple choice question, this is where you put in your responses. So you don't have to do anything, you just click on the first box, and then you'll enter in your first option. And then once your first answer option is put in, you just hit enter. And the second box will automatically pop up for you. And the third one, and you can put in as many as you want. I'm just going to do 3. And then you'll want to select the one that's correct, so that when your students select, they'll get the right answers feedback. Alright, so there's one question. We're going to keep moving down. So there's a paragraph coming up on this famous shrine, the Isi Grand Shrine. But there's no picture of the shrine. They talk about it a good bit. There's actually mention of a lot of shrines in this text, but there's no images. So I think that'd be a nice thing for students to have as they're reading, to actually be able to see what they're reading about. So I'm going to go to insert a sticky note, and then I'm going to highlight the paragraph that I want the image to follow. And so here is the sticky note option. So you just type in anything you need. So you put in YouTube links, you can embed code, you can put in images, anything you'd like. So I'm just going to put in an intro so that students know exactly what they're looking for. And then I went ahead and made a document that lists and has all my external images and media and links and stuff, just to make this a little bit easier. And I'm just going to copy and paste that right in there. So there it is. As they're reading through, they'll know, okay, well, that's the shrine that they're talking about. That's what it looks like. Keep moving down. I'm going to put in another question. So following this paragraph here, I'm going to hit the insert a question again. Click on the paragraph that I want the question to follow here. And here we go. So this one I want to be an open-ended question. I'm not going to put in a multiple choice options or anything like that. I'm going to leave it just as it is. So I'm just going to hit create, and then that's it. I'm going to leave it be. It's automatically saved. I don't have to do anything else. So I want to also, actually in the same space, this paragraph is very dense, lots of information, and we talk about both state and Shinto, Shrine Shinto in class. So this is a question that's going to have them expand more on what state Shinto is, but I want to give them a link for some additional information on Shrine Shinto. So I'm going to hit insert a sticky note again, go back to the same paragraph, because you can insert two things right underneath each other like that. And here I'm going to go to my document and get the YouTube link for video that I want them to view. And I'm just going to copy and paste that in there. And then you can even introduce it if you'd like. I'm just going to say click on the link and take notes. So that'll insert that. And as when we assign the page, the link will actually turn into that nice image of the video, a still image of the video that it's going to show. And then the last thing I want to do is put in a link for an additional web page. There's a great shrine in America, the Tatsubaki Shrine, and what I'm going to do is use the sticky note option again. Click there. And then here I'm just going to say access the link and read over the web page. And then I have the link for the shrine right here. Plug that in. Tighten that up, and there we go. So this is good enough for now. I may go back and edit it later, but I think we have a good variety. We have our highlighted text. We have a multiple choice question. We have an image to illustrate what's being talked about in this paragraph. Another open-ended question followed by an additional YouTube link for them to watch of the video. And then we have an additional website for them to go to investigate and learn a little bit more. So now that I have this the way that I want it for now, I'm going to go ahead and assign it. So I'll go to the assign icon here and click. And since I have this synced up already directly with Google Classroom, the class that I want is right here. I'll click there, and then I just go to Share to Google Classroom. Select it properly, everything looks good. And it's done. With our web page finished and assigned, you should be able now to go back to your InsertLearning dashboard and see the assignment. Here it is. The Way of the Kami, the Pluralism Project. It's under my Lessons tab in the InsertLearning dashboard. It's assigned already, so I'm able to click on it and see the actual assignment. And this is still from the teacher's perspective. Everything is here. I also want to point out that my Google Classroom that is linked up to my InsertLearning account, automatically here it is as well in my Google Classroom, The Way of the Kami, the Pluralism Project. So everything is looking good here. I wanted to show you another option you have. In addition to making web pages interactive, InsertLearning also allows you to make Google Docs interactive. So if you have a particular lesson or assignment in Google Docs that you want to make interactive for your students, just like we did with the web page, you can do that as well. So all you have to do is pull up the Google Doc in question. So here's mine, Lesson 6. This is an additional reading I want my students to do on the creation myth of Kami no Michi. So I have it pulled up, and just like you do with a web page, you just click on the extension for InsertLearning. It's going to ask you to publish, so you publish and make a lesson, which will turn this Google Doc into the page. So we're going to hit yes, okay, and there we go. You'll see the toolbox popped up over here, the on the left side of the screen, the exact same thing that was there when we were working on our web page, and you can do the same thing. So one thing I want to do here is this creation myth talks about how the Japanese islands were formed, so I think it'd be cool to put in a video here. So I'm going to insert a sticky note. And then what I want to do is put in a link to a video that's actually about how volcanic islands are formed, which is really neat. It kind of is taking the discussion of the mythical account in another direction. We're touching on both the emic and the etic perspectives here, so I like to do that sometimes. And then at the very bottom, I want to go ahead and put in another video that is just a visual interpretation of the creation myth of the two main characters, Izanagi and Izanami. So we'll put that in there. So it's just making that a little more interactive. And then you do the same thing as you did with the web page. We're just going to assign it. Click on the class that I want to assign it to, and we're going to share it to the Google Classroom. Sometimes this takes just a second. It's done. So we'll close out of that. Go ahead and close out of these docs. And let's go back and check. So there it is, plugged right immediately into our InsertLearning dashboard. You can see both of these assignments. And then if I go to Google Class and just refresh, it pops up there too. So that's just a really neat feature. I just want to kind of make sure everybody's aware that not only can you do web pages, you can do Google Docs, you can actually do PDFs. Practically anything that you can convert and upload, you're able to make interactive. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. I wanted to switch perspectives and show you what Insert Learning looks like from the student's point of view. So here I am as a student logged into my Insert Learning account. Recall I said that students, in order to access Insert Learning lesson plans, have to create their own Insert Learning accounts and download that extension to their browsers. But this is what it would look like as a student logged into my Insert Learning account. So I have my lessons, my grades, my classes. So here is the class I'm in. Here's me as the instructor. And then I'm able to see the lessons that have been assigned to me for this class. When I'm finished with my lessons, I can mark them as done. And this is what they look like from the student's perspective. So they click, and it goes straight to the page that you've already edited. And we can see the things that we put in before are all here. Here's the quiz, or the little question I put in. So I know the correct answer is Amaterasu. So the student selected that, comes up as correct. If they selected one of the other answers, it would reduce their points, or depending on how you have it set, they'll get 0 credit depending. As we go down, there's the shrine image I put in, the additional question, there's the YouTube video I inserted. Click on the link and watch the video visiting a Shinto shrine and take notes. And then we keep going down, and there's the last link that I put in for this other website, which it takes you directly to. So pretty straightforward. Students can just go through, engage the page that you made, and when they're finished with everything, they go back to their dashboard and they just sign mark is done. Here is the Google Doc that we edited as well from the student's perspective. So pretty neat. And there's a lot of possibilities for this. That it's so neat that you can do this now. If you teach English, imagine if you assigned a chapter of Moby Dick, you could insert videos of whaling, or if you taught Call of the Wild, you could insert clips of dog sledding, or there's also the possibility that you could insert the transcripts or the book narration, so students could listen to the book, the audio of the book as they're reading along with the text. The possibilities really are endless. There's so much you can do to make these web pages more interactive and engaging for your students. So let's keep moving on and see what else we have. One more thing that I wanted to show you before we switch back out of the student perspective is that you may have noticed already that on the left-hand side of the screen here, there's a abridged version of the tools that you have available to you as the instructor for the students. They have a few of these things as well. so that they are able to use them when they're reading through your assignments. So as I did here, students can highlight the readings as they go through. They can annotate. They can also insert their own sticky notes if they want to give themselves a reminder, or if they want to insert a video that they found helpful on their own, they're able to do that. Another cool thing they can do is they can take notes on their phone, audio notes as they're reading through. If they want to just kind of say something to themselves in an audio file, they can save it, and then they can even insert the audio file into the assignment itself as a sort of a reminder. So that's a neat thing that is also available, and of course that also means that you as the instructor could do the same thing. So as you're editing your web pages, you could put verbal notes, audio files into the web pages that your students can click on and hear you say things to them as they're reading, which is a really neat feature. So the last thing I wanted to show you before we wrap up this session is how you can actually record footage of yourself to insert into the interactive web pages here. So it's really just as simple as the other steps that we've gone through, but what you can do is, say you wanted to insert a little footage of yourself after this clip. Same thing as before, you go to your sticky note icon, click on that, click on the paragraph that you want to precede the video, and then here, instead of putting anything into the text box, you'll notice there's a little video recorder here to the right. You simply click on that, and this pops up and syncs with your webcam. You hit this to record, and then after you have your session recorded, whatever you want to convey to your students, you can save it, and it will insert itself just as though you put in a YouTube clip. So you could also obviously insert videos, pre-recorded videos of yourself in there as well. So that's a really neat feature to kind of keep your students engaged. Let them be aware that you're always watching. So the last thing I want to make sure everybody is comfortable with before we wrap up is exporting the lessons that you've created to your students. So as we've talked about constantly through the video, InsertLearning syncs up directly with Google Chrome, Google Classroom. So that's really the easiest LMS to sync your assignments up with. But that being said, you can still put your assignments in other LMS systems. Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, whichever you use or whichever your school uses, you're able to put these assignments there as well. All you have to do is just take the URL from your project. So actually click on the page that I edited. Here it is up here, and you can see this one already has it. You just want to make sure that it always has the hashtag InsertLearning on the end of it. Sometimes you might have to type that in manually, but you'll just put that link into whatever LMS you choose, and it will redirect your students to the page that you want them to work on. With Google Classroom, obviously your grades are directly exported for you, so that's a little bit easier here. But the other thing to note is that if you don't want to use any LMS, you can bypass it completely and just have your students use their InsertLearning accounts. They can log directly into their InsertLearning dashboard and access the assignments directly from there. And one of the neat things you can do as an instructor from your InsertLearning account is you can grade assignments, or you can export your grades out of InsertLearning into an Excel file and upload them or convert them however you see fit. So here I just go to Grades, the Grades tab. I'll select the class, the lesson that I want to grade, and then you can select by, you can filter by question, you can filter by student. I'm the only student in my class at this point, so you can see how I did on this one question. And if I wanted to download my grades right here, you can download, like I said, as an Excel file. So that's pretty convenient and helpful. And you don't have to have Google Classrooms to use InsertLearning. It's totally easy to use with any other LMS or just through InsertLearning itself. Your students have to create an account anyway when they sign up and install the browser, so that's a really easy way to do that. Alright, I think we've covered all of the major topics that I wanted to show you in using InsertLearning. We've edited our web pages, we've inserted YouTube videos and other media, we've created and added quizzes, and we've gone over how to sync your new InsertLearning web pages with the LMS of your choice. You are now ready to begin using Insert Learning to make your own interactive content, and I hope this training session has prepared you to hit the ground running. Have fun!